you also want to enter teaching or academia and you want to know कि salary कितनी expect कर सकते हैं इंडिया में, this video is going to be for you because हम discuss करने वाले हैं salary expectations and what are the things that actually matter in the interview and how to manage PhD with a part-time job. So the first thing is कि जो salary होती है, it depends upon the type of city that you live in, whether you live in tier 1 city, tier 2 city or tier 3 city. उसके हिसाब से जो salary है वो depend करती है. Second thing is it depends upon the type of the employment. First is the permanent, second is ad hoc and third is the guest lecturer. For the permanent post, so in government colleges जो salary expectation है हम start करेंगे assistant professor के हिसाब से, because everybody starts from being an assistant professor and then they get promoted upwards. So जो ये salary expectation है, I am talking about the assistant professor part. In the government colleges incentives मिला के तकरीबन 70 to 80,000 आपको मिलते हैं per month. And then in the private colleges, it varies from around 40 to 50,000 rupees. Then the second thing is the ad hoc post. For the ad hoc post, in the government colleges, it could be around 40 to 50, could go up to 60 incentives milake. And in the private colleges, it could start from very as low as like 12,000 and it could go up to around 21,000 or 22,000 and yeah, it ranges somewhere between that for private colleges. For the guest lecturer post, it is around 500 to 700 rupees per lecture. So I am talking about per lecture because it could vary, that it could be मतलब आपको वो एक साथ भी दे सकते हैं at the end of the month or after like per lecture वो आपको pay कर सकते हैं. So it depends upon the college. Then what are the things that actually matter while giving the interview, you know, how you are selected? So the very first thing that you have to qualify UGC NET for being an assistant professor. हालांकि ये आपको गारंटी नहीं करता है कि आपको जॉब मिलेगी कि नहीं मिलेगी, but it does make you eligible. It opens the gate for you. So UGC NET क्लियर करना बहुत ही ज्यादा जरूरी है उसके लिए, एंड UGC NET with JRF हो तो और भी ज्यादा बेटर है. Like, why am I saying that? Let me explain you why. So there is something called API scores. हो सकता है कि छोटे colleges में या छोटे शहरों में API score ना calculate होता हो, but if you want to go to a big university or you know some tier 1 city, उधर API score matter करता है. And career के starting में if you are not enrolled in PhD or if you have not completed PhD, then it is very difficult कि आपका API score अच्छा होगा. But what is API score? पहले वो समझते हैं. तो API score होता है कि जैसे for example आपने UGC NET clear किया है, तो with NET अगर सिर्फ NET clear किया है then you will get 5 marks. If UGC NET आपने clear किया with JRF then you get 7 marks. If you have some research publications or published papers, you get 2 to 3 marks. और जो 30% का स्कोर है वो आपको इंटरव्यू आपने जो दिया होगा 30% का स्कोर वो डिसाइड करेगा जो इंटरव्यू होगा. सो ये जो ओवरऑल मिला के आपको टोटल मार्क्स दिए जाते हैं, that is called the API score and it is calculated for each and every candidate. ठीक है. सो इन इंटरव्यू में क्या पूछा जाता है? इंटरव्यू में जनरली आपने मास्टर्स में जो भी सब्जेक्ट है आपका, उसमें आपकी कितनी क्लैरिटी है, आपके कॉन्सेप्ट्स क्लियर है कि नहीं, वो सब पूछा जाता है. इफ यू आर गोइंग टू परस्यू PhD, वो आपके रिसर्च प्रपोजल के बारे में पूछेंगे, किस चीज के बारे में है, व्हाट आर द आर्ग्यूमेंट्स, व्हाट इज द मेथोडोलॉजी, इफ यू हैव प्रिपेयर्ड अ रिसर्च प्रपोजल और नॉट. Secondly, if you have done your PhD, or if you are into your PhD, then they'll ask about the PhD domain and the thesis and the questions related to the thesis. So yeah. So last thing that we are going to talk about in this is that what do we talk about in interview, like हम क्या कैसे पता लगाएं. So the very first thing is about कि negotiation कैसे करें या वो सब. So in government colleges, the negotiation at the earlier stage, I don't think so it is that much possible. In private colleges, up to some level it is possible if your resume is just too good, or it is like a very good profile, then you can negotiate a little bit more. But otherwise the negotiating power could be limited. So what do you need to clarify in the interviews if you are selected? First is the work timings. What would be the work timings, generally the basic thing. Second is that if you get an off on the weekends or not. If especially if you are going to pursue PhD on the side. Okay, so the third thing is that what are going to be the responsibilities? Is it just going to be the teaching, or there are other responsibilities as well that you have to take care of? Because sometimes these things are little bit hidden. The last thing is, ये थोड़ा सा awkward जरूर लगेगा पूछने में, but जरूरी है ये पूछना that at what time does the salary actually gets credited. So that is one important thing that you need to know before making the decision of joining somewhere. Then the last thing of this video we are going to talk about is कि PhD के साथ side job कैसे manage करें. Honestly speaking, I am just managing my job right now and not enrolled in PhD yet. I am going to take admission in the upcoming admission cycle, so I'll know better then. But from what I have heard from other people and PhD scholars is that you need to get a good supervisor. अगर good अच्छा supervisor नहीं होगा तो आपकी life बिल्कुल एकदम जहन्नुम जैसी हो जाती है PhD करते वक्त. So you need to get a good supervisor जो आपके ही research domain से हो, जिसमें आप research करना चाहते हो वो उनकी niche हो, वैसे टाइप का प्रोफेसर हो, प्रोफेसर अंडरस्टैंडिंग हो. सो या, that is about managing. Other thing is that you should aim कि आपका JRF हो जाए ताकि आपको जॉब की टेंशन ही ना लेनी पड़े. PhD का आपको स्टाइपेंड जो 37,000 होता है for the junior research, and in the senior year you get up around 42K per month. So try and aim कि JRF हो जाए, so you don't have to take the stress of doing a job. But अगर side by side job करनी पड़ती है, then focus on getting a good supervisor. That is what I have heard. So this is everything that I needed to know when I was starting. I was starting out some months earlier, and yeah, that is it for the video. If you like the video, do subscribe my channel. और बहुत सारी videos आने वाली हैं and आपको बहुत मजा आएगा मेरी life को देखने में as a PhD student, aspirant, and also a GenZ teacher. So yeah, subscribe my channel and I will see you next time. Bye.